Hello, everyone. How's it going? Figured I was actually thinking about doing a video, a rant video, but I figured I would stream it because I get to like communicate with you guys and also get your guys' take on like what I have to say. And it has actually been something that has been on my mind for a while, and it's something that I have noticed for a couple of years now, actually. I just never really made a video about it because, well, I guess because of the response, I guess. Because I just know that, it probably wouldn't have the best reception, especially, a couple years ago, back when I did have a more rock audience, I guess. I just think back in the day, like, it just couldn't have worked. Okay, so we got two people in here, three people, it seems. If you're in here, go ahead and say something in the chat. But yeah, today was one of those days where I wanted to stream. John Sims, what's up? Hey, Bud Dean. And there's Reed. I don't think I don't think MJ will be joining us today because I know that Sunday is his busy day. Why am I streaming so early in the day? Because I felt like it. But yeah, thanks for coming, you guys. It's late here. Well, I'm sorry, I can never pronounce your name, but aren't you like in the UK or something like that? Me and MJ have beef. Oh yeah. Turkey. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it would be late then. It's 10:47. Oh wow. But yeah, I mean, like the title of the stream says, what time is it in Pennsylvania? It is 3:48. What's up, my man? How's it going, old things? I'll just call you old things. Yeah, same here, Bud Dean. It's almost 4 where I'm at too. Okay, yeah, Reed, your time is just an hour behind mine, so yeah. But yeah, like the title of the stream says, I know some of you might be thinking like, what? Like what's that about? Like, well, for those who don't know, it's actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a while anyway. And I initially wanted to make a video about it, but I thought it would be better if I made a stream instead. Um, so that I can get your guys' reactions as I'm talking and maybe give me guys your take on, what I have to say and all that. And Demon Hunter liked your Instagram posts? Nice. Yeah, they've liked my posts as well. Whenever I got my Outlive Deluxe set back a couple years ago, They liked my, post then too. I really like how active they are with their fans, and I think that's one of the things that really make them an underrated band. Yeah, pretty much close-minded rock fans. I guess, the crowd that, I guess refuse to have some musical maturity, I guess. Like, they'll stick to this little bubble of just a few bands, and they won't leave that bubble. Maybe it's due to nostalgia, maybe it's due to, to the amount of actually good modern rock bands there are, you know? Outcast, never heard of them. I get yeah, the ones who think their music taste is the best, yeah, I guess that crowd too can apply. Um, but, I just have to think, like, there's a lot of things that really, um, kinda cringe me about, like, all that. Like, I've been seeing, like, stuff on social media, like, about this post that from this one guy that said, I guess it was in his motto or something, it said, like, "Breaking Benjamin is life," or something, of all the bands. And I just and what really made me wanna talk about this was because, I mean, these people really claim to be, they claim to be, like, true music fans, but yet, like, Breaking Benjamin's, like, really the only band that they give 2 craps about, and everything else is just extra to them. I mean, you know. What do I think about Fit for a King? I personally do not enjoy Fit for a King, but, I don't think they're the worst band in the world either. Red is love, red is life. Yes, I would say, Red is my favorite modern rock band. Good stuff there. Sorry, but Breaking Benjamin can't be the best. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if it 2010 or 2011 and someone were to say that, that might be more reasonable, but, I mean, come on, it's 2019, can't we move on from it? Can you talk about ardening and the continual improvements that you've made there? What do you mean? Those diehard emo fans? Yeah, that's another thing too, a lot of these, the edgy rock community, they do like to think that, they do like to, like, call themselves emo, but, like, they won't go heavier than, like, Red or something. What is ardening? I'm still kinda new to this channel. You're not that new to the channel, Reed. I mean, you've been subscribed since last year, so although I don't believe I've released an ardening last year, so I guess that would make sense. Now that you are licensed or something like that, the first one was kinda crap. Yeah, the first ardening was, like, very I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it was very I don't wanna say low class, but, like, it wasn't as, like, as professional as I feel like as the ardening series go on, it seems like, I, mature more as a filmmaker as each ardening comes out. Like, um it really does seem like, I it gets better with every one, even though I thought Ardening 2, the second one, was the best one out of all of them. That was until Ardening 4 came out. When Ardening 4, came out on my channel, I felt like I really picked things up. "Hey, Zach, it's Dalvin. Can you see my posts? On YouTube or on Instagram or what? What is my favorite song from the new Demon Hunter albums?" That's tough. One song I've been really digging is "Loneliness" from the Peace album. I mean, I really love that song. I mean, there's something about it that just brings me back to, the days whenever I first got into Demon Hunter. Um, yeah, I think "Loneliness" is totally underrated. I think they should eventually make a music video for that song. What's a band you like that isn't metal? Could rock count or no? 'Cause I've been posting on this stream. Oh, yeah, Delvin, I think, do you remember when I accidentally, removed your comments from the channel? I think I might have actually accidentally, like, just removed you from the channel completely. And the thing is, with the way YouTube's, setup is now, I actually have no idea how to unblock or anything. But yeah, it is actually pretty convenient that you have, your other channel because you could still comment on that, which will be good, definitely. But yeah, I really like Loneliness. I really like, On My Side, yeah. On My Side, to be honest, has grown on me a lot. It was a song that I've always thought was kinda meh at first. Yeah, Gray Matter is good. That's like a more, fun sounding song, kinda like Died in My Sleep. As you said, Anders Frieden wasn't potty trained his until he was 6 years old. Yeah. Lesser Gods, yeah, that's a great song. Maybe my favorite on the War album, but I don't know. Yeah, Ash is a pretty good song. But yeah, maybe in a little bit we'll get into the discussion about the edgy rock community. Have I heard Hexed? Is that the new Bodum album? Okay, yeah. I've only heard the leading single from it first. I'm still yet to listen to the whole thing, but I still might. It's actually you should sing for a thrash prog metal band called Trivium. Yeah. Wasn't there someone in a stream one time who said I look like Matt Heafy? Yeah, I think that was you, Reed. But yeah, Dalvin, I apologize about like removing you from the channel. I don't know how that happened, but I actually have no idea how to get your original account back. What are my expectations for the new Red album? So I hear they're going back to the heavier days, like End of Silence and Innocence and Instinct. Um, so that should be interesting. I actually have some expect high expectations for the new Red album. Besides War and Peace, that might actually be my most anticipated album of the year. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I'm like I love Demon Hunter, but I'm also a really big Red fan. So yeah, I don't know. Do you know how why they crowdfunded Red? Yeah, War? Yeah, War is really good. Thankfully, my War and Peace CDs will be in the mail this Tuesday, I believe. Most disappointing movies of 2018? I wouldn't know because 'cause I've only seen, like, a couple movies in, 2018. But, yeah, I'm also excited for new Megadeth this year. The thing is, I have no idea when that's releasing this year. Yeah, you should listen to, the previous Demon Hunter albums. I would recommend, the self-titled debut and the Triptych and, True Defiance. Believe it or not, I actually did get to hear the deluxe songs, so I feel fortunate there. Yeah, I mean, that's just it, Reed. I mean, no one wants to listen when I say that, like, Demon Hunter is one of the most unique bands out there, like, they just do a lot of things that most bands don't do, you know? And I actually kinda do like that they're not as big as they are because they tend to steer away from, like, the mainstream crowd or whatever when it comes to, like, mainstream metalcore. They kinda did what, Between the Buried and Me did last year, although Automata 1 and Automata 2 didn't come out on the same day, but that's kinda like what they did. Did I hear about the plane crash today? No, I didn't. They were more new metal. Um, their self-titled debut is more new metal. I actually got to, um, personally ask Ryan Clark himself if, the self-titled was inspired by by early Slipknot, and he confirmed that it was, so, yeah. Ready for new Slipknot, Testament, more metal albums? Yeah. I think the next metal release, not including Red because Red isn't really metal, but, I think my most next anticipated album is either Killswitch Engage or Megadeth. I'm pretty excited for both those albums, though. I think 2019 is gonna be one of those years where no matter what kind of metal you're into, there's gonna be something for you. I mean, it's always years like this that are always great to be a metalhead, just like 2016 was. Why November? Have I heard the band Spoken? I've heard of them, I don't think I've heard any of their music. Yes, you're right, we need a new As I Lay Dying album. I think if that got confirmed, that would definitely be my most anticipated as of right now. I do believe that they will release an album at some point. If not this year, then at the very least in 2020. Because I don't know why they would come back and just not release anything. Do you think these old metal bands coming out with new stuff is a thing? What do you mean? May 15th, 2001? After the Burial? I've heard of them. Full August Burns Red album? Oh, the day Lateralus came out, yeah. Honestly, it's a really unpopular opinion, but Lateralus might actually be my favorite Tool album. I know a lot of people either say, either Anima or 10,000 Days is their favorite, but I'm kind of in between. I actually think Lateralus is their best album. Is Between the Buried and Me metalcore? They combine metalcore with progressive metal. I think they're more progressive metal than metalcore, but they definitely carry some metalcore, influences. New Tool isn't going to succeed expectations. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I don't know. There should be Automata 3. It's funny you say that, Reed. When I heard that Between the Buried and Me was releasing new music last year, a part of me was hoping that they would come out with Parallax 3. I mean, I would really love that, honestly. Progressive metalcore is awesome, yeah. Oh, okay. I'll do that, Dalvin. I'll do that right now. I've been trying to contact you, but I was afraid you weren't getting my contacts. Yeah, I was kind of afraid of that too, Dalvin. Even if the new 12 gets, I'll still buy it. Yeah. Honestly, I think I'd buy the album too. Let me see. I'm just trying to find a video that you commented on, Dalvin, so I can go there and actually, I'll just type in unblock. Let me know if that worked, Dalvin. Oh, you commented on my recent pickups video? Huh. You never understood the negativity towards albums like Reroute to Remain. I mean, it's not an album that I love, but I don't hate it either. You thought Open Season was a lit movie. Phil's Records, they got a lot of metal albums. They don't have everything in metal, but they have a pretty solid variety. That's nice. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure I unblocked you, Dalvin. Hopefully that worked. And if you want, you can always leave another comment on my CD pickup video if it's not there. But yeah, I think I'm kind of getting carried away from the title of the stream. um, I mean, there's a lot I could talk about. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Reed. We can get to the point. um, I just think that there's a lot of people that lack musical maturity. Adam Walker, I don't know if you're in here, but if you happen to be like watching this like later on or something, um, I would say that he had some musical maturity this year. I think. I mean, he really stepped up his game because I actually found out that I did a video that made him want to go into the more classic bands, and I'd say that video was must have been really successful. So, yeah. Are Tool fans edgy? Uh, Maybe a certain degree of them, but no, I would not say um, the majority of them. There's bands people think that gonna save rock. Yeah. The thing is with the rock community though, I mean, this can go for classic rock fans too. Now, I love classic rock is becoming one of my favorites, honestly. Like I've gotten into bands last year like Led Zeppelin and Rush, but a lot of the classic rock community do have the elitist mindset. Like they think that they also kind of do have that mindset that like, oh, I like real music. My music's more superior than yours. Like that's you know especially, like, towards metal, like, they say, "Oh, I don't like your, heavy crap," or whatever. So, not that, like, they would get off the hook for, anything either. Yeah, Greta Van Fleet, yeah. My problem with Greta Van Fleet is I feel like they're a band that exists just because they wanna show that, like basically, they just exist for these people that grew up with um, classic rock, and it's basically them forming is basically their way of saying this is the only good kind of music. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, the innovative bands that I've checked out, I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't think I'm a fan of any band that formed in the 2010s. Um, the more recent bands I've been checking out they just haven't been doing it for me. Um, I did get into Starset for a little bit a couple years ago, but yeah, that's about it. You like Ghost? Nice. Do musical artists get better over time? Uh, I personally don't think so, but you know, but yeah, like I was saying before, and of course, that follows the title of the stream. There's a lot of people like one thing I do get sick of, and this goes for the edgy rock community as well, is that, like, you can't recommend anything to them. You just can't because, like, they may check out, like, the album and, like, never return to it. And I know some people that, like, I've recommended plenty of bands to, but, like, they just go off and, like, to the same old teenage edgy rock that they've been listening to for years on end. Like, instead of buying a new Iron Maiden album, for example, they'll go and they would rather go and buy their 5th copy of Dear Agony by Breaking Benjamin or something, and I don't know how someone could consider themselves a true music fan. To me, that's just saying, "I only like a few bands, there's nothing else, to, purchase as far as music is concerned. My 5th copy of a Breaking Benjamin album will just have to do." So that's one of the things that are really frustrating because, like, the thing is with the modern rock community is, like, a lot of them just have no idea what they're missing out on, and they would rather buy the same album that they've been listening to 50 million times than to get into different bands, either because they're metal bands or because they're bands that formed in the 1980s or something. And heck, even when it comes to, like, classic rock bands like Led Zeppelin, like, they're rock and there's edgy rockers that, don't wanna get into them because of, they I guess for obvious reasons because their sound isn't as polished as, uh, as other bands' music like 3 Days Grace or Breaking Benjamin. I'm also tired of seeing rock and hip hop comparisons. Yeah, that's true. Fifth copy of the same album. That sounds insane. Yeah. To be fair, though, I have 2 copies of Breaking Benjamin's latest album, but there's actually a story behind that. It's not like something that, like I just said, "Oh, well, there's nothing else to purchase because I'm only into a few bands. Another copy of Ember will have to do," you know? It wasn't anything like that, though. I technically got my 2nd copy by mistake, which I'm considering, like, trading into my exchange or something, because it is still, like, sealed in its packaging and stuff, so something I might consider. Maybe get some money off of it or something. When I buy rock or metal albums, I usually buy 1 copy per album band when feel I feel in. Oh, okay. I think some thrash metal fans could be really close-minded towards other bands from that scene. Yeah. I don't I don't know too many people who exclusively listen to thrash metal. For the most part, the thrash metal fans that I've came across have been pretty reasonable. Like they usually do like other subgenres, maybe like metalcore, or they also maybe like power metal or maybe even progressive metal. So there's that too going for them. Unless it's a different version of the album. Yeah, that is true. To be fair, if I were to see like an alternate cover of the True Defiance album from Demon Hunter, I probably would pick that up, because it's super rare for one. But I mean, as far as Breaking Benjamin goes, I mean, they're not a rare band. I mean, you can go to Target and see one of their albums sitting on the shelves from a mile away. And, you know, okay, so Dalvin, are you talking about the comment on my CD pickup video? Because no, I do not see it. You may have to leave your comment again. 20 2008 was the best year of your life? Hmm, that's interesting. Yeah, exactly, Bud Dean. Deluxe versus standard edition, yeah. But yeah, I just I don't know what the excuse is for these, you saw Despicable Me on release day. Oh, is that movie really that old? I remember when that came out. Like, the more I see, like, the way these, edgy rockers act, like, it just like, this is no exaggeration, but, like, it honestly gives me a headache just knowing, like, where their mind is when it comes to, like, their musical spectrum. Like, I think about March 1st, like, there were so many good albums that came out March 1st. Demon Hunter, In Flames, and the new Queensryche album, which I haven't heard in full yet, but I've liked from what I've heard from it. You know, we got great bands releasing great music, and these edgy rockers are listening to bands like Ember by Breaking Benjamin, which is an album that didn't age well at all. Like I can't even remember the last time I even listened to Ember. Like I I just it blows my mind. I've seen you buy CDs. Do I have a record player? You mean like a turntable? Yeah, you listened to Ember once. Yeah. Breaking Benjamin should retire. I agree. I think I think the problem with Breaking Benjamin anymore is, well, I think there's actually a few problems with them. One of the things is they're a band that I think really needs to think outside the box. I mean, they're one of those bands where you listen to one album, you pretty much listen to them all. Um, I like they just like don't innovate their sound in any way. Like I think Demon Hunter would be a good example. I would use In Flames as an example, but I mean, for a while they went downhill, so In Flames was not a good example. But I would use Demon Hunter for an example because, like, they went from being more like new metal combined with like metalcore, and then they like switched over to more traditional metalcore, you know? And there's some albums by them, like if you were to hear some albums compared to others, like for example, if you were to take the Peace album and compare that to something like Summer of Darkness, like that sound like they sound like from like totally different bands, you know? Don't forget Trivium, they experiment as well. Yeah, that is true. See the 2 Demon Hunters. Yeah, that is true, Reed. Yeah. I know I said in my War and Peace review, I said I liked War more, but that's slowly changing because War is really like, it's a great album, don't get me wrong. I think it's a great album, but it really didn't bring anything new to the table for the band. While I appreciated that they went heavier again than they did on Outlive, um, like, I do think War is one of their heaviest, at least since Extremist. Um, I do appreciate that, but I felt like Peace really did something. I don't know, like, it really did show that the band could do new stuff, you know? Not only that, the song "Recuse Myself" is probably my most listened to Demon Hunter song out of both the albums. I mean, I just really love that song. I mean, the funny thing is about that song, it to me, it seemed like everything that I've always wanted from Demon Hunter, but, like, I never knew how to describe it, but, like, I've always wanted a song from them that had that haunting, atmospheric feel to it, and I felt like that's what I got with that song, and I think that's why I love it so much. "Hey, what's going on, Mots?" The problem with Breaking Benjamin is the problem with almost all of those post-grunge alternative metal bands. Yeah. Thoughts on the band Creed? I haven't really heard much of them. But yeah, and people wonder why I say Breaking Benjamin is overrated. I think another problem with them is, well, of course, is their sound. Their sound is aimed for teenagers who hate their lives. I mean, what year do they think it is right now? Like, we're not in those days anymore. And, you know, you pronounce my name correctly. Yeah. Well, I heard Adam call you by your name so much that it's just become like, you know, Delvin. Okay, Dalvin, I see your comment. You're good. You like some of Breaking Benjamin, but not into them like the other bands. Yeah. Yeah, I could see you, Dalvin. But yeah, I know how you feel, Bud Dean. That's kind of where I'm at with them too. Like they're a band that I like, but I mean, why listen to them when there's better bands out there? I mean, it blows my mind that like there's people like that still even to this day consider them like the greatest band in history. Like I go back and listen to them and I just don't see it. I don't know if it's just, I'm getting older and my musical tastes have just matured, and I don't need edgy, emo sounding, I hate my life kind of rock music anymore, you know? Like, you look at bands like Dream Theater that, have a lot of complex riffs. I mean, Breaking Benjamin fans would die if they heard some of Dream Theater's riffs, like, that are, like, and, as well as a lot of complex, um, progressive metal bands. I mean, I feel like with Breaking Benjamin's riffs, it's just, like, chugging, like, there's no, like, the riffs in their music are just kinda bland, like, they're not creative. I don't know why everyone wants to say they're, like, he's like Ben Burnley's such a good guitar player or whatever. Not that I think he's bad, but I mean, one of the best? Like, no. I mean, I've heard better from Patrick Judge from Demon Hunter. And, what about, like, Kirk Hammett from Metallica or, Dave Mustaine or, who else? Or the, guitar players in Flames, you know? He's better than Lil Wayne, obviously. The riff from Never Again is rip off of Diary of Jane, yeah. Ollie from All That Remains, oh, yeah. Poor Ollie, man. That's still really upsetting what happened to him. But you know what? His final work was really something. I mean, Victim of the New Disease, yeah, exactly, it's a great comeback. I mean, if there was one final album for him to record, I think that was the perfect one, you know? It's their best album in years without a doubt. Hey, Zach and fellow YouTubers on the stream. I did the Oh, okay. What do you think of the controversy surrounding Tim Lambesis? Well, I I think the only people that are against Tim Lambesis are the SJWs, the social justice warriors. Um, Now, I think anyone can agree that what he did was a bad thing. I mean, what he did was a bad, bad thing. But here's the thing. I think it's one of those cases where it's like, is that really, like, going to be something that you're gonna hold against him, like, for the rest of your life? Like, it's something, yeah, exactly. Basically what Reed said, yeah. You come back and the first thing you hear, social justice warriors, yeah. Gotta love social justice warriors. Um, I think, I think people do need to forgive Tim Lambesis, you know? Um, because here's the thing, and this is something that I've noticed with a lot of people, and I think it's so funny. Obviously, Tim Lambesis has done something that's pretty illegal. What I've noticed is that, like, I've noticed that people have a hard time forgiving people when they do something illegal than something when it's not. And I feel like Tim Lambesis has kind of fallen into that trap. You know what I'm Does that make sense? You know? I mean, um, obviously it's illegal for a reason, but, you know, he's out of prison now, and, I would say that He's back making great music with As I Lay Dying. You would have thought As I Lay by now As I Lay Dying would release a new album. Yeah, yeah, honestly. Is it me or does your voice sound different from your videos? It actually might. I think my voice is actually deeper in real life, so yeah. As I Lay Dying already banned from one of the concert venues that they were going to gig? Wow. See, that really makes me mad, man. I don't know, I just ugh. I mean, if you're one of those people that, like, say that, like, "Oh, I can't forgive you if, you draw this line," then you shouldn't even be a subscriber of mine because that really makes me mad. I mean, yeah, I mean, I do feel sorry for, Tim Lambesis, and, not because of for what he did, but because of the controversy in general, you know? And, the thing is, these people gotta think too, like, these people that are, like, criticizing As I Lay Dying, do these people really think that the fans really accepted what Tim Lambesis did to get himself in prison? I mean, if they really think that, then, no one was for that. No one was for that, you know? So, it's like, clearly there's something up. Trivium should make a death metal album. Steroids got to his mind, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, old things pass away. The other members' lives just turned 800 degrees when Tim Lambesis. Oh, yeah. When do you think Maiden will release a new album? Oof. Oof, I don't know. Honestly, the future of Maiden concerns me for several reasons. For one, I do think there's a possibility that the Book of Souls could end up being their final album. Um, and now unpopular opinion, but I really don't think modern Maiden is all that great. Especially with especially their 2000 stuff, like the Final Frontier. The Book of Souls I do like more than the Final Frontier, but I don't understand when people say that it's it's as good as their '80s stuff because I just don't see it. I really I must not be hearing the same thing, you know? Um, but I like I said, I do like Book of Souls more than, you know, more than Final Frontier. And the problem with Maiden's newer stuff is they rely their sound a lot on the progressive side of things, um, like they don't have the same hooks like their '80s stuff does, you know? Yo, Zach D. Hello, Mr. Boss Gamer 1. Did I hear the new Tool album is finished? I think I did hear that. So what have I been listening to lately? Well, I've been listening to the new Demon Hunter albums, of course. Um, I've been listening to the new Dream Theater. What else have I been listening to? I've been listening to some Rush. I've been listening to I've also been listening to some Iron Maiden and Queensryche here and there. Oh yeah, and I've also gone back to All That Remains, so that's something too. When is Ardening 5 coming out? You will have to wait this week because I'm putting out the reveal for Ardening 5 later this week. New Dream Theater album is amazing. Oh, I know. Glad you saw Maiden once in your lifetime. Do I have stuff for film for Ardening yet? Oh, you bet. It's the thing is with Ardening 5 right now, it's like nearly done. The only thing it needs now is just one more scene and the soundtrack, and that's it. That's all that needs done. Hey, Dalvin, I hate to tell you, but that's not the Patrick you're thinking of. What is the best track on Trivium Shogun? Probably either Down with the Sky or Down with the Sky. Down from the Sky. Um, or the opening track, which I still can't pronounce. Norma Jean. No, I have not. I don't think I've listened to them. But yeah, I like how we're going into several topics. And yet this is supposed to be a rant. But I don't mind talking about other things too. The thing is, I don't do rants anymore. Like I just haven't been up to it. Ugh, got two notifications. Dalvin's comment. Yeah, Is there really 9 people in here? Pineapple and pizza. Have I listened to Alice in Chains self-titled yet? No, but I really want to. That's a band that I do wanna check out more, and just grunge in general. I mean, I listened the only Alice in Chains album I've listened to was their newest from last year, and I only thought it was decent at best. Adam Walker is here. Or should I say Adam Runner? But yeah, like I said before, I like how we're getting off topic, totally off topic of the title of the stream. You think old Alice in Chains is was better? Okay. The only time I run is if there's free ice cream available. There, yeah, yeah. Listen to Facelift. Okay, yeah. That's actually the album I was thinking about giving a chance. Um, Facelift and Dirt are their best. Yeah, that's so I heard. Do you agree with this description of Breaking Benjamin? I saw someone say, "Corporate modern rock." Yuck. Maybe I don't know. Out of all their albums, okay. But yeah, the reason I wanted to discuss the modern rock community is, I guess, due to just the close-mindedness of a lot of them, and I guess just the musical variety that they lack. Like like I said before, like they um, refuse to check out bands maybe because they're too heavy or something, or maybe because they formed a long time ago and they think that music's boring or something, and they don't want to give it any chance or any appreciation. I heard it was today's Ben Burnley's birthday. 3 Days Grace has gone downhill too. Maybe. I don't mind Outsider, but it hasn't held up for me. Um, but I do like it more than Human. But it's really a shame because I feel like where because I know that there's people who enjoy modern rock all over the states. Um, and when they go to record stores and stuff, honestly, I would really hate to think that they would have nice record stores, because there they go wasting their money on Seether albums or Nothing More albums when they could be diving into some Iron Maiden or Megadeth or Queensryche or something. I don't know. Not that I have a problem if someone enjoys modern rock, but you guys know what I mean if you guys have seen my previous videos. That's really all that some people will stick to. Compared to the pop community, I don't think rock community is all that close-minded. Being one enormous, special, yeah. Ravan is here. Whereas most rock lovers know it, at least a handful of bands as well. Yeah, that's the thing. Like they only really like a few bands. And here's the thing with now I'm gonna talk about bands like Nothing More and Seether. You want to know what I kind of think those bands are to me? I think those bands are just bands for rockers to get into just because there's nothing else to get into. They're just leftovers, if that makes sense. You know. And same deal with the band Royal Blood. God, I can't stand that band. Just no. No. See, there's one of the best modern rock. Oh man. Don't you mean Nothing More to get into? I'm talking about the band I'm talking about the band Nothing More. And I'm talking about See There For You. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mots. See There is a band that I actually did try to get into, but I gotta be honest with you, I just wasn't feeling it at all. And I think a lot of it does have to do with the timing as well, because I remember, a couple of years ago, I've tried to, I guess, revive my rock days. I actually wanted to try to relive the days when I was heavily into Breaking Benjamin and Red. And I think the reason for that was because of my community, for one, because I did have a big rock audience back in the day. And it was also at a time when modern rock was making its comeback. Like, there were a lot of bands coming out with new music a couple years ago. Like, you had Seether, Nothing More, Starset, Red, um, and that atrocious Royal Blood album, of course. And, because of all these rock bands that have been releasing albums, I thought that, it would be something that I could get into. But the thing is, I think I'm just getting too old for these bands now. Like, I'm trying to relive something that's been dead a long time ago. And I've been trying to relive the days for the nostalgia and for the sake of, trying to figure out what the hype was for other people. Like when other people were like hyping up these albums by Seether and Nothing More. I mean, at the time I thought that they were good bands, but I but over time, like, they just lack replay value, and I end up at the end of the day, I just end up listening to bands like Iron Maiden and stuff, like, and mostly metal bands, I just don't know, I just think if you're in college and you still mostly listen to that type of music, I just don't think you're musically maturing, you know? Because with most people, they usually go heavier as they get older, like, I could tell you from experience, like, I started out with bands like Breaking Benjamin, Red, um, and then, like, I went f to bands like Demon Hunter, then As I Lay Dying, and then I went to stuff like Soilwork and In Flames, and, it kinda just went heavier from there, you know? Do you remember Rocked the Music Critic passed on Sadie, or what albums see him cover? RTP? What is that? Release the Panic? Actually, their latest album was great. Oh, okay. You're only 17 years old and you've been listening to rock since you were 14. Okay. Oh, Regretting the Past. I thought it was Release the Panic. I started getting into metalcore less than a year after I got into rock. Interesting. Yeah, artists themselves do get softer with age, but that is just the artists themselves. Some people still loves those bands maybe because of nostalgia. That's exactly it. I mean, I've been told that one time, like, how nostalgia is really the only factor. Like, I've came to the conclusion that people don't say that Breaking Benjamin is their favorite band genuinely because they're a good band per se, but because of how they felt about them when they first gotten into them. And, like, it's one of those cases, like, where when they think of Breaking Benjamin, that's all they see. And I'll be one to admit that's all I see too. Breaking Benjamin to me is just a nostalgic band for me. Like, they're like, I don't listen to them because I want to listen to good music or anything. I want, like, anytime I listen to them, it's solely for the nostalgia. Because if I wanted to listen to music because I wanted to listen to good music, I wouldn't be listening to bands like Breaking Benjamin. I'd be listening to bands like Iron Maiden or Dream Theater or something, or maybe even Demon Hunter. Melodic metalcore is the best metalcore. Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, and like I said earlier in the stream, there's a lot of people that do refuse to take recommendations. And the reason for that is because it's one of those cases where they feel like they're not going to like it because it's metal or something. And there's still people today that there's still people today that crap, I just lost my train of thought. um oh yeah, there's still people today that that think that, like, the majority of what I listen to is mostly scream vocals. And that is not the case at all. I mean, if we were talking like a few years ago, maybe, but definitely not so much anymore. The majority of the stuff I listen to now actually mostly consists of clean vocals. and it's it's metal bands that use clean vocals, bands like Iron Maiden, Dream Theater, Tool, um, the list goes on, of course. Yeah, I know how you feel, man. Like, the days of me trying to find different modern rock to be into are pretty much over. Like, 10 years. 10 years is a band that I thought about giving a chance, but I'm really, really glad I didn't because I think I'd save me the time, honestly, and I think about, like, the bands that I did get into this year. Now, I've only gotten into 1 band so far this year, but I do plan on getting into more bands this year. So far, I did get into Queensryche, and that's a band I think that's more worth my time than these edgy emo rock bands like 10 years, you know? What now? Edgy emo rock. Another thing that the edgy rock community, speaking of the emo edgy rock community, another thing that really needs to stop with this community, I think, is they're just attitudes. Like, they feel like they can't live unless they're in a relationship or something, which, here in 2019, that's something that they just gotta deal with, you know? I mean, they really are living in the past. They really are living in the days when, like, the scene deal was big. Like, they're living 2012, 2011, you know? They're living in the days that I feel like have been long gone, I guess. Or 2006. Yeah, I guess. You're giving me a heart attack, man. I'm sorry, Mots. I'm sorry. But I think the thing is, when it comes to, like, as far as, like, musical maturity goes, I think it's also one of those cases where it's like, um like you said about nostalgia. Yeah, exactly. Some people just isn't get out from their teen years. Yeah, exactly. I feel as if there's a lot of people that don't wanna try out different bands solely um, because they haven't been a fan of them for a long time. You don't need to get out of your teenage years yet. Yeah, you're still good, Mots. And yet, these people wonder why they're insecure. They wonder why they're insecure, yet, they only stick to the music that they've been a fan of since the beginning, like, since the beginning of their musical journey. Like, their music, like, a lot of these rockers' musical journeys are like this, when it could be like this, And to have it like this is not a musical journey. 1 year to go. Whoop, whoop, yeah. I remember when I turned 18. Social media is a big reason why people are anxious and depressed. Yeah, I can definitely agree to an extent. It's actually the 17th read. I would just listen to big four bands, yeah. And that is metal and rock, yeah. Oi, I recognize the name, but I think you've changed your profile picture. The Sav Svetlana Volkova. I think it's pretty cool how I got a lot of, Cover Killer Nation's viewers in here. Then again, besides Cover Killer Nation, I might be the only guy in the PA area that is also a music reviewer. You didn't like rap until I started listening to rock, and I found blah blah Eminem, the creator. Oh, I see. Don't forget MJ. Oh yeah, yeah. I do remember you in one of my other streams. That was fun. Yeah, and new Insomnium record. Yeah, true. Ah, oh, Reed. Yeah, I like your lighthouse. Thanks. Don't mind MJ Nation at the doorstep there. He likes to hide there sometimes. Any thoughts on me? Really, Mots? Wow. Irvan does reviews on albums as well. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Ravan is he's the king of album reviews. He does reviews better than anyone, even me. Yeah, it is an inside joke, but I'll stop by more often. Bye. Okay, take care. Ravan says woo. Yeah. Someday I'll probably have Nick. What's my problem with Muse? They're a boy band. I just don't listen to boy bands. Pretty much my same problem with Starset. Is Nick my brother? Reed, you asked that before. No, he is not. Here's my latest Instagram post on my personal account. Yeah, I was joking. I never remember asking you if Nick was your brother. Okay, I might give you props. It might have been someone else. Boy band. You know who's a boy band? Starset. Oh man, I don't know where my head was at whenever I got into Starset. It was in 2017, and I do think in 2017 that was like really the last year where like, I could only listen to music if it sounded cool to me. And later in the year, I discovered that, I can like bands that require appreciation too. And the bands don't have to sound cool to me for in order for me to enjoy. Your Demon Hunter reviews drop this Friday. That's cool, man. I'll be watching. My battery is running low. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get um my laptop charger. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Wait, this ain't even the right cord. Who is farting in the background? You were probably that was probably my door you heard. Ugh. It's MJ from the lighthouse. Yeah. MJ, say excuse me. Why does your door fart? Wow. I knew you didn't mind bands not sounding as cool as you said you showed your love for Rush. Yeah. Is that is it the actual lighthouse? Lighthouse. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Reed. He's in this one. But yeah, someday I'll have Nick back on the streams probably. Yeah, I was wondering how to say his name too. What do you mean where am I located at? OA? Okay, that works. But yeah, I don't get how wow. I don't think reviewing older albums is a bad idea. I do that sometimes. But yeah, it's really crazy how some people are still deep into Ember, Breaking Benjamin's last album, as much as they are. Like, not only did the album not age well, but I don't know how. I just don't know how you can still even go back to it. Um, by even just by the recent album releases, you know. I agree. Ao Ember's not. No, it's not really that special. It is not easily their best. No, Ravan. No, it is not easily their best. I mean, you have to put one of their first four, and basically any of the albums before the hiatus, you have to put it number one. I mean, that's just the way I see it. Then again, I was a fan um, before they even came back as a band, so yeah. But I think that's really a no-brainer. Phobia is a special little snowflake, yeah. Phobia is still my favorite. Well, you still think Ember's the best while you were a fan before they came back? Well, I don't know what to say to you then. That's truly something, though. Year 3000? Wow. I don't know. Like I said, like just Breaking Benjamin as a whole, not just their latest album, but like I, I just I just don't see the relevance. I just in 2019, Breaking Benjamin, I just don't see that relevance, you know? And I know some people might say, well, you listen to older bands like Iron Maiden. You think that's relevant? But the way I see it, that music actually requires the appreciation, you know? Oh, Reed. The thing is too, I really don't think there's anything Breaking Benjamin can do to get me back on board. And I think uh I think it just goes to show that like there's nothing that Breaking Benjamin can do to get me back on board. Because I think it's just the name alone, Breaking Benjamin, that makes me think my teenage years, my high school days. And that's what really gets me about some of these rockers with their nostalgia. Like, why do you want to go back to those days? That's one of the things that I've wondered. You know, like why do you like why? I just don't understand as like someone who's in college or maybe you just graduated high school or something. Why would you wanna go back to those days? You know, how you were angry about life. Yeah. Well, honestly, I still get angry about life, but, I don't go around attention seeking like these Breaking Benjamin fans do, calling themselves emo or whatever. Wow, you're so emo by listening to Breaking Benjamin. It's pretty ridiculous if you think about it. Yeah, it's funny because when Breaking Benjamin was on hiatus, I wanted them to come back so bad. Like, at the time, if there was one thing in music that I could have changed, it would have been that. It would have been to see their hiatus. Mott's. You know what's funny? MJ Nation also makes jokes about that. Slipknot is extremely heavy metal. Wow. You could never get into Slipknot? No surprise there, Ravan. Not cool enough sounding or something. I like Slipknot, but I do think they are overrated. Um, I don't think that they're the greatest band in the world. You've tried several times over the past years or so, and you just can't. I guess that's understandable. I don't know. Okay. But once again, like I said before about music that requires appreciation, I do feel like Slipknot is one of those bands that you can't go into after listening to a symphonic metal. So that might be your problem, Irvan. Like, because I know you listen to a lot of stuff that has a lot of atmosphere to it, a lot of symphonic stuff. So bands like Slipknot might sound a little too uninteresting to you, I guess. I don't know. Like, not enough feeling, I guess, in their music. And it is really crazy that Slipknot is as big as they are, um, considering that they don't sound that mainstream. Snuff. Yeah. I actually would like to collect the rest of Slipknot's albums because I ha I have 3 out of 5 albums so far. I have the debut, Iowa, and the Gray Chapter. So far, the Gray Chapter is my least favorite. I really dig their earlier work though. I think it's very melodramatic. Mm. Yeah. Like I said, I do think Slipknot is rather overrated, but I don't think that they're a bad band. They're kind of in the same spot as Metallica is for me. I think they're a great band, but I do think that they get a little way more hype than they're worthy of, I think. Yeah, that might be true, Ravan, I don't know. And, it could be because they're new metal. Oh, no, you're not annoying, Bud Dean. I don't think you're annoying at all. Yeah, I agree, I agree, AO or, OA. Um, it does get kind of old. Although one thing that's kind of like a pet peeve for me, personally, is the debate on whether or not Linkin Park is metal. Now, I can understand if someone wants to call them new metal, but I don't know, like, just the fact that they're under a genre that has anything to do with metal just triggers me a little bit. Um, I don't know. The Revanchist. Wow. New metal hasn't really done it for me. Yeah, me either. I like some new metal though. Like I do like Slipknot and I do like Seven Dust, but that's about it. I'm never gonna get into bands like Limp Bizkit though. Good God, no. No, not Limp Bizkit. You could say rap rock, yeah. Yeah, honestly, Bud Dean, I'm the same way. I'm the only metalhead in the family as well. Um, but I think I've often said this before, but I think metal really has something for everyone. And the funny thing is, there's people that like metal bands, and and the funny thing is, they don't even know they're metal bands. You know what I mean? Zach, how long have you known Nick? Um, wow, it's been almost 4 years actually. Or it's been since I think fall of 2015 or something like that. Yeah, yeah, whatever. My mom prefers my brother's music over mine. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same shoes. And repetitive auto-tune rap. Yeah, see, that's what gets me. That is really what gets me. Like, I love how I look like Jimmy Neutron. Shut up, Reed. But yeah, what I was saying before was, crap, what was it? Um, like, they only like music if they can, like, dance to it or whatever, And they think that, like, all metal is screamo or whatever. Yeah, I agree. People do use the word screamo for the wrong bands. Like, I know there's people that call Demon Hunter screamo, and I don't understand that at all. It's hardcore genre? Yeah. Insomnium Screamo. Wow, that's pretty sad. Like I said before, I don't even listen to metal that has screaming that much anymore like I used to. Like, I used to listen to more Melodeath and, metalcore a lot more. Like, now I'm into, like, thrash metal and progressive metal more, and traditional heavy metal. Albums like Come Clarity as emo. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those albums that you really have to look into, and, once you do that, you realize that it's not so emo. One of my friends described my whole music taste as emo. Mott's, I've been there. I've been there. I let him listen to some Linkin Park, and he was convinced that it was emo. That was kinda the same way for me, except it was August Burns Red. It wasn't Linkin Park. One of my friends in middle school also called Red goth. Wow. That's really something. By the way, speaking of Red, who's going to pick up the 10-year anniversary edition of Innocence and Instinct when that drops? August Burns Red emo. Yeah. You're not that into them. But you like Seether? You mean to tell me you're into Seether, but you're not into Red? What? No. No. Unacceptable. You really like Of Beauty and Rage? But yeah, man, that's like that's like saying, I can tolerate, All That Remains, but not Demon Hunter. Oh, wait. Well, if it's on CD, they said it's something about vinyl. Yeah, same here, Van. I mean, I collect vinyl here and there, but I would much rather have it on a CD. You just haven't listened to them much? Oh, man. Dude, you're missing out, like, big time. Like, to me, I think Red is probably the best modern rock band. I think they surpass 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, all those bands. I think they're better than yeah, exactly. Just what Ravan said. Barely have space to collect these CDs. Yeah, I know how you feel. Oh, when it's the exact opposite with you, well, there's just nothing that special about Seether. You know, they're just to me they're just a standard hard rock band. They don't really bring anything new to the table. You know, not only that though, I haven't been a fan of them for a long time. Ravan, does the R stand for red or Ravan? Seether's lyrics too. Don't even get me started on Seether's dumb lyrics. Too edgy and depressing and too much swearing. I mean, the list goes on. You're pushing me over the line, mate. I don't think Seether is a terrible band. Like, I've definitely heard worse bands. You'll see me later? Okay, Bud Dean. Take care, man. I don't think that they're the worst band in the world, but they're nowhere near one of the best. Nowhere near. I mean, I'd rather listen to Linkin Park than them, and I barely even listen to Linkin Park that much. What would you say about future leaders of the world? What is that? Is that a band? Hey, you guys, what? You guys, no, I've actually never heard of them. Old Things Pass Away. I've actually never heard of them. Three albums. Wow. Um, honestly, Moving Pictures would definitely be one of them by Rush. Probably. Oh, I don't know. Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power is up there for me too. Vessels 2.0. Oh gosh. That is one thing I will give back to you, Mots. I think Seether is actually better than that album, than Vessels 2.0. That is like one of the worst pieces of rock music that I've ever heard. Calling Starset rock in general is just pushing it for me anyway. You'll send your assassin home then. That's good, Mots. It's probably a good idea. Most of their songs are rock songs. I don't hear rock, man. I hear pop. I don't know if we're hearing like I mostly hear pop than rock. Oh, Foo Fighters. I actually haven't listened to much of them. I don't know, Ravan. We must not have the same ears because I mean, then again, I am a guy that does prefer classic rock and classic metal these days. So to me, Starset really sounds like they could be I mean, honestly, a lot of their music could sound like it could be played on top 40 radio. And even before I became a fan of classic stuff, I probably would have thought that. Like, Starlight very easily is a song that you wouldn't blink an eye if you heard it on a top 40 radio. I don't know. I'm just glad to be out of that fan base, though. Not to mention, Starset takes a long time to release new albums. Like, from what I can tell, it takes them like 3 years to come out with new music. Because the next album by them will probably be out 2020 or something. Screaming, a very pop thing. Yeah, that is true, but, you know, I'll put it this way. They're too pop for me, okay? I mean, as a guy that does prefer um, more raw music that doesn't require electronics or anything, they just don't do it for me. I've never heard of, tennis CSD. Whoa, what? What do you think of Knives? Knives is, like, really one of the only electronic bands I like, and you probably already know why. I think Ryan Clark could really do literally do anything in it, and I'd pretty much enjoy it, you know? Although I'm not a fan of his band, Lo and Behold. That's, like, really the only band of his that I don't like. I honestly hope he doesn't continue with that project. I'd like to see him continue with Knives, of course, though. Yeah, Lo and Behold is nothing that special. I mean, I'm good with Demon Hunter and Knives as far as Ryan Clark goes, and Training for Utopia, even though he's not in that band anymore. Also, guys, there was another thing that I did want to talk to you guys about, and it was something that I did forget to mention in my update video, my last video. I know I said at the beginning of the year that I was interested in doing personal discussion videos, but I honestly, I'll admit I pretty much chickened out of it. I mean, I personally don't think that the personal discussion videos are ever gonna happen. I would love to do them, but it's just, when it comes to backlash, I don't take that kind of stuff so lightly. I mean, for those who know me well enough, I really don't take backlash too lightly. And that's one of the things that really kept me back from doing the personal discussion videos because of basically SJWs. And I don't know if I could leave a nice comment to them if they said something that they didn't agree with. But then again, there's SJWs in music too. And, I still talk about that. And that's also why I've been steering away from doing negative reviews as well. Um, I don't do like negative reviews because of that as well. But I don't know, I think there's something about doing personal discussions that would trigger me more because people really wanna shove their rights down people's throats, and it's really something I don't wanna have to deal with, and I just don't think I could reply to those people and not be overly harsh about it. That's really the thing that's really holding me back. You gotta go for now, see ya. Okay, Ravan, see ya, man. You're eating brownies. Lucky you. Brownies do sound good. But yeah, I know some people were looking forward to personal discussions. I don't know if Anya is in the stream or not, but I know she said before that she would like to see that direction for the channel happen, but you know, I know some of you guys I know it sounded interesting to a lot of people though. And I pretty much gave up on doing movie reviews. Um because as you guys know, movie reviews is something that I did bring over to the channel, but I've not that I think that not that I don't like talking about movies in general. I'm just not as passionate about it. And here's the thing, guys. I don't see a whole lot of movies. And for that reason, I feel like, if I seen more movies more often, like if I went out to the theaters more, um I would talk about movies a whole lot. Because I feel like if I was a channel that did movie stuff as well, I would have so many people like wanting me to talk about the latest Avengers or the latest Captain Marvel movie or something. But the thing is, I haven't seen any of those movies. And it's like, what am I supposed to do, you know? What do I think about therapy? I want to know this. I've checked them out before. They're not really for me. Ugh. Unfortunately, there's only a handful of Christian metal bands that I actually like. I think a lot of them lack creativity. You don't need to see those movies. They're just yeah, so I hear. Have I heard 1X by 3 Days Grace? You bet your sweet self I do. I did. Yeah, 1X is actually my favorite 3 Days Grace album, but like I said, I really don't listen to them a whole lot, so really does go to show how much I even listen to that record. Also, if you guys have seen the most recent Demon Hunter lyric videos, they did one for Lesser Gods and Fear is Not My Guide. One thing I've noticed about those lyric videos is that the band themselves disabled the comments and the like dislike ratio. I found that really, really odd. And another thing I found really odd was I'm wondering why they went with doing the last two bonus tracks, like the two closing tracks on both albums. That I don't know. There's just something very weird about that. Like, typically, you don't see bands on like, disabling, like, dislike ratios or, disabling comments. That's just not normal. I don't know what the deal is with that. Yeah. Well, Patrick Judge, their, guitar player, has been writing the majority of the lyrics for New Demon Hunter now. I believe Extremis was, like, really the last album where Ryan Clark really put his own lyrics into. Although he did have some lyrical credits in, Outlive as well. I know he had lyrical credits in One Step Behind, and I believe Raining Down as well. But I think, Patrick Judge did the lyrics for songs like, Cold Winter Sun, and I think he did the one for Patience too. Huh, that is really weird, OA. He m Ryan Clark might have done most of the writing on, Peace, but I know on War, I don't think that was the case. Patience is a good song. Honestly, it doesn't hold up for me as much now that the new Demon Hunter albums are out. You know what's funny about that song though, Patience, with the piano introduction? I felt like that was a tease to the next Demon Hunter albums because there is actually more use of piano in the new Demon Hunter albums, even both of them. Some of you guys might have not have caught it yet, but there's actually piano in the song "Lesser Gods." I think at the very end, um, and piano was definitely used a lot in Peace. Um, and yeah, I think the thing is, I think Ryan Clark and the guys, I think they knew that Patience was one of the most liked songs from Outlive, and they thought, let's make more songs like that. Patience is still a good song, though. Don't get me wrong. It's obviously the best song on Outlive, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't think Outlive is as bad as people make it out to be, though. Then again, I pretty much enjoy all of Demon Hunter's albums, so yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's the thing I love about loneliness. That's the thing I love about loneliness is that it goes all over the place, and I love it for that. Like I know a lot of songs when they go all over the place, it doesn't work, but with that song, it worked out very well. Eventually, in a couple of months, I'm going to be making a video on where Demon Hunter could be going next time around, um, where they could go for their next album or whatever. And I do know that Demon Hunter will not be doing this 2 album release thing again. because they said for the next album they won't be doing the 2 album release thing again. They'll be releasing 1 album. And the interesting thing is, you gotta think, like, where else could really they go at this point, you know? Are like, cause like, War was heavy and Peace was a more on the mellow side, and so it kinda makes you wonder, like, it's kind of unclear where they're gonna take the next album, like, are they gonna make it softer? Are they gonna go heavy? Like, I don't know, it really is just hard. It's really hard thinking about where they could go, you know? Honestly, I'd be okay with another album like Peace, honestly. That yeah, I would actually like to see more songs like that, like Lesser Gods in, the future of Demon Hunters albums. That would, definitely be interesting, especially with the, vocal effects in the verses. I mean, I think that's something that's gonna be used more, probably in the future Demon Hunter albums. I don't know. I am kind of concerned for my fandom for Demon Hunter as well because, like, I think in a few years, I'm gonna be moving on from them. I won't be able to keep up with them, because, like, I've obviously have moved on just a little bit, even though I still go crazy over Demon Hunter. Um, I just, I just don't know if my fandom will be all there. Am I in Blessed Resistance? I'm not. I just don't wanna pay that kind of money to be in a fan club. It's like an album a month. How? I mean, I know that Blessed Resistance members get exclusive content. Oh, $10 okay, $10 a month. Okay, I thought you meant, like, they've been releasing new music every month or something, I don't know. That'd be crazy, though. I mean, I would sign up for that in a heartbeat if that was the case. But, yeah, to tell you the truth, man, I think I am gonna close out the stream pretty soon because there's only 3 people watching, supposedly, and you're the only one who's, talking. Um, so, yeah. You get it? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Oh, there's Mott's. Dude, you should have said something if you were still here. I'll link it again so you can see Norma Jean. Okay. Talking about electronic elements, some bands doing that kind of stuff as well, yeah. The funny thing is, I really did wanna get my point across about the edgy rock community or whatever in this stream. I think I will talk about that a little bit more before I really close out the stream, so, you know, oh, there's just so much, man. There really is. There's a lot of, there's just a lack of musical maturity with some people. And here's what I don't get, and I'm gonna kinda go from experience because it is pretty weird that, like, Breaking Benjamin is not my favorite band because they were one of the guys that helped me get into, like, hard rock and music and stuff like that. So, it is pretty weird considering that they're not my favorite band because, like, I don't know what it is with Breaking Benjamin, but it does seem like anyone who is a fan of them, it always does seem like that, like, they're somewhere in their top 5 favorite bands or maybe even their favorite band of all time, you know? I don't know why that is. "Oh, well, they're just a great band." No, it's because of the nostalgia, that's all it is, you know? You just stop with that, stop with, that. I mean, just admit that they're nothing special. Admit that they don't bring anything new to the table. Admit that all their albums are the same. Admit that their music is catered to people that hate their lives, you know? People don't wanna owe up to it. And I'm gonna tell you from experience, like I said, because whenever I became a fan of Breaking Benjamin, whenever I checked out other bands, like when I checked out, Demon Hunter, I discovered that they're better. They're a better band than Breaking Benjamin. They have for one, they have more diversity, they're heavier, and plus they're metal, and they and I think Ryan Clark just has a better voice overall than Ben Burnley. Um, and you know what's funny? I saw this list that Jared Dines did. I don't know if you guys know who Jared Dines is, which I'm sure a lot of you do, but he did a list for top 10 vocalists or something like that. And he had Ben Burnley on on his list of top 10 vocalists. Why? You know? I mean, he's got to be faking it. I am to be honest with you, this is no exaggeration either. But I genuinely do believe that the only reason he had him on the list was to shut the fans up. To shut the fans up. And he probably had fans that said, "I'll unsubscribe to you if you don't have Ben Burnley on your top 10 list or something." Because we know how crazy Breaking Benjamin fans are. And it's a community that I cannot stand. We yeah. Dude, his vocals on "We Are Not Alone" are atrocious. He sounds like he's constipated or something, I don't know. You know who else is kind of an overrated vocalist? And of course, no disrespect to him either, though. Chester Bennington. Not that I think he has a bad voice, but I really don't see the hype behind it. I really, really don't. I really don't see the hype behind his voice. Like, if I wanted to listen to those kind of vocals, I'd listen to Red, honestly. Thrice? Never listened to them. Well, the thing is, with Jared Dines, I mean, Breaking Benjamin was one of the first bands I gotten into as well. But the thing is, you gotta let go of your teenage bands. You gotta let them go. It didn't take you very long to make me hate you. Well, what can I say? Okay. I'm glad you're just kidding. You actually like Linkin Park's last album? Interesting. But yeah, I don't know. But I don't know, but like I was saying before, whenever I checked out more metal bands, I was like, "Huh, these bands are actually better than Breaking Benjamin." And there's people that, are Breaking Benjamin fans, they'll still check out, other bands, but for some reason they're still captivated in Breaking Benjamin being their favorite band. Why that is, I have no idea. It's almost like Breaking Benjamin has this hypnotizing power, like, they have this captivating power to their fans. I'm not sure what it is about the band, but it's almost like sort of like this Illuminati thing or whatever. I know that's kinda going too far, but it's almost like this thing where it's like, there could be an Iron Maiden fan who could check out Breaking Benjamin, and then, like, all of a sudden, they're captivated by their music somehow. I'm not sure what it is, and honest to God, I don't know how I didn't get captivated myself into that music, and given that they were my first band, they were one of my first bands that I ever gotten into, so you think of all people, I would hold them high above many other bands. But to be honest with you, they're not even in my top 10 anymore. And like I said, I um I love it because I've had experiences with suicide. Yeah, man, I've been there as well, so, don't feel bad about liking it. The thing is, I understand also about people who think Matt Shadows is a good screamer. Yeah, I don't know if I know who that is. You know people who have done it more than one? Yeah. Not in the metal type of way, yeah. We know what you mean, Mots. Oh, yeah, I don't know Avenged Sevenfold, so but yeah, I mean, Breaking Benjamin, they know how to pull people in. I don't know how they managed to do it. I know someone who tried and he blamed me for almost killing himself. What? That's crazy. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I mean, now, obviously, I don't think Breaking Benjamin is a bad band. Obviously, because I gotten into them almost a decade ago. But the thing is that style of music, like here in 2019, that's not the style of music to listen to in 2019. It's just not. You know, if you wanted to, like, if you, I don't know, like that's like high school music. Like I just don't understand. You broke connections with him. You're all good. Yeah. To be honest with you, Mots, that's not a good friendship to be in. Um, yeah, because like there's some people that that have given me some red flags that I thought, okay, maybe I should steer away. I've actually had some beef with another YouTuber almost a couple of years ago now, and he said some things about me that are pretty outrageous, to say the least. I mean, stuff that you should never, accuse someone of. And the thing was, after I saw what he said, I've realized that this dude is really a dangerous individual because you don't know, and of course, he's an SJW, I mean, he deny that, but, let's be honest, he is. But yeah. I mean, people like him just don't care if they ruin your reputation. In fact, that's what he was trying to do. Him and his retarded community was trying to make me quit my YouTube channel. I know, because one of them was like, "Oh, maybe it's time for you to quit your YouTube channel. Hey, Zach, yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's difficult to break connections with someone you've known for a long time, but sometimes it's for the best. You could say maybe they're a bit generic. Yeah, I used to think breaking measurement was the crap back in the day, but what I kind of think now is like whenever you know, as I listen to all the bands that I'm into now, like I think about bands like Iron Maiden, um, Rush, Demon Hunter, All That Remains. I look at all these bands now, and I think Breaking Benjamin doesn't have the diversity that these bands have. Let's just say that Breaking Benjamin is not the most adventurous band. Some YouTubers can be annoying. I remember that one guy who calls himself elitist bashing my English all the time when I joined his streams. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Dude, old dude, yeah, old things pass away. That same thing happened with me. I've been called that so many like, yeah. Like I try not to get into politics or anything, and I would not consider myself a very political person because I do, to be honest with you, I do see bad on both sides. But if I were to choose a side, I do aim more conservative. And that's sadly what some people get on each other for. It's just ridiculous. But, I just don't see politics as a reason to get into, you know, an argument over because I really don't see it that big of a deal. You're not that political at all. That's good, man. That's good. You come from the Netherlands, so that's a pretty progressive country. I actually didn't know that. That's interesting. First country to legalize gay marriage and stuff like that. Oh wow. I actually didn't know that. But myself am conservative. That's interesting. Yeah, what's funny? Those people, these SJWs, they complain about equality, but the thing is they want equality for everyone who's like, except for Christian individuals, like, they want equality for everyone, um, but when it comes to them, it's like, "Nope, sorry, you're too heartless and you're too hateful," it's just ridiculous, like, so much for, wanting to accept everyone, like, I often say this, if you accept everyone, then mean it. They want equality of outcome, which isn't very equal at all. SJWs are dangerous. Oh, yeah, indeed. Like I was talking about, like that one individual. But yeah, that's what gets me. Like you could be a conservative who is like, okay, well, I don't agree with your beliefs, but you can agree with that if you can stand by that if you want, but I'm just not for that. I care about you as a person, but I just don't agree with that. And then you get crapped on for it still. And then you just scratch your head and you're like, I still get called hateful just because I don't agree with that. I see them make some bands stop playing some of their iconic songs. Yeah, it's stupid. Just because those songs were offensive. Yeah, and you know what blows my mind about these SJWs and um a lot of SJWs and atheists out there, yeah. Um One thing that blows my mind about these SJWs is, where were these people back in the 2000s? You know, like, how, like, a lot of SJWs, like, freak out over, video games now? Like, okay, where were these SJWs during the early 2000s? Where were they then? Did these games, like, all of a sudden become a problem? What all of a sudden made them become a problem? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that make these idiots unlogical? If I didn't have the mindset, "I don't agree with you, but I accept," I wouldn't survive out here. Yeah, it's the same way with everything, like, you can't, like, disagree with something and, you know, not become hateful for it, and the sad thing is, like, you become exposed for it. Unfortunately, we live in a world where agree with me or, get isolated pretty much. And that's what I was saying about that individual I had some beef with a couple years ago. He was like I just remember he was making remarks about me and the funny thing is they acted like that I was the problem. And no, it's just I didn't take your crap. That's what it was. It's that, I wasn't like, "Okay, you're right. Your beliefs are more superior than mine." Yeah. Maybe if I was an idiot, maybe. Yeah, fight the good fights, yeah. If you will say something negative towards a male or people, yeah. I don't understand that at all. I remember, someone called me a woman hater because I supported As I Lay Dying. No, I'm not joking. And I guess that's obviously because of the act that Tim Lambesis committed. But I mean, come on. Come on. Like, no. No. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, no surprise you support them." Okay, well, I'm not surprised your SJW self doesn't support them because you're the one who's, limiting yourself because, you're a supremacist or something. Yeah, exactly, what he did yeah. I mean, come on, who do you r did he really think that I accepted, what happened with that? I mean, come on, you can't be serious. Like, no one was okay with what happened with Tim Lambesis. Like, if we're real here, come on. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. And he claims to call himself a metalcore lover, but I don't know how you can call yourself a metalcore fan, but not, like, appreciate the pioneers, AKA As I Lay Dying, you know? He got out early for good behavior, yeah. Well, I think that's because he genuinely is a good person. He just made a mistake, you know? And unfortunately, colleges are becoming way too, SJW infested as well. Oh, yeah, I do remember that incident. Yeah, I don't understand these colleges either, like, these professors, they shove, like, their beliefs and crap down people's throats as if, like, everyone's going to agree with them, like, you do like, I just have to wonder, like, you do realize not everyone in college is SJW or liberal or whatever, you know? Sure, maybe the majority of them are, but, there's that minimal, half that isn't. I think he paid money to get out early on parole. Yeah, well, I'm sure he does have the money. Oh, yeah, I agree, Mott's. Yeah, it is scary, the world we live in now. Yeah, you guys might laugh at this, but the thing that I actually hate the most is how hard it is to find a soulmate anymore. I mean, I think to me, that's what bothers me the most because that's actually something that does affect my life, you know? And, with people like defending stuff that it's hard to even find good friends these days. That is true. That is very true. Yeah. Every time I visit a university or someone get involved in church for something, I dude, I've been in church since the day I was born and, there's nothing that really happened. And mind you, I've throughout my church life, I've attended like every church in the Pittsburgh area, almost. But unfortunately, you know, girls like, talkative guys, at least in the church. They like those outgoing tall guys, so and I'm neither of those. It's hard to be an introvert, yeah. That's why you do online media, so you don't have to go out. But of course, there are things about that don't always work out as well. But it is obviously better than nothing. It's better than sitting there not doing anything foolishly, I guess, because you're not going to succeed at anything if you just sit there doing nothing. And you know what? I'll be man enough to admit that I do struggle finding a relationship. And I know most guys won't admit that, but I do. I do have a hard time. I struggle. And I like AO OA said it's even hard to find friends, and that's something that I also struggle with. Not nearly as much, but yeah, you know. But you have to also understand the last time I've been in a relationship was before the SJW movement really skyrocketed. Like it was before then. It was like a little bit before then though, but that was like what, a few years ago now? It's been over 3 years at least. Oh, yeah, Mots, I definitely feel you. Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. But 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend broke up with me. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I mean, that's honestly one of the worst feelings in the world. But, I've gotten to the point now where it's like I've I've gotten so used to it. You found out. What does that mean? Were they like trans or something? Cheating probably. Yeah, that's a possibility too. I've never I found out that it's one of the worst feelings in the world. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I've never really had I've never really had a girlfriend who cheated, but I've had girlfriends who have, like, played around with other guys, and, you know, I just thought I was okay with that because, if I were to say something, I thought that, like, that would be it. So what's my favorite thrash metal band? I don't know, that's tough. It kinda goes back between 3 bands. Because I really like Megadeth. For a while, Megadeth was my favorite thrash metal band. I like Megadeth, I like Metallica and Anthrax, and I'm slowly getting into Overkill. That's a band that I'm very interested in. I have good friends like you guys. Yeah, of course, mods. And people say internet friends aren't real friends. But the sad thing about that is if internet friends aren't real friends, then looks like I got no friends at all, you know? So that's I guess that is other, as far as, popular people, of course that's way easier for them to say. That's way easier for them to say. It's really sad. Have I seen my your reviews of the new Demon Hunter albums? I still have yet to check those out. I'll probably get around to that at some point though. Yeah, I have as far as my life friends go, obviously you guys know that I have Nick. Um and I do have some friends from college, but I really don't see them unless like I'm filming with them or just we just hang out in college. But yeah, that's it as far as my real life friends go. I know many times it's proven but I hate when false allegations happen. Dude, yes, I know. I was telling you before about that one individual who was saying some stuff to about me to a friend of mine on YouTube. Honestly, I just don't know how. Real life accountability partner? Yeah, I don't know. I felt like there was something that I've done in my life that caused me to be cursed and like not have any relationships or friendships or anything. At least as far as real life goes. Yeah, yeah, that's really a shame. Trust me, there's been there's been accusations about me too. And here's the funny thing is, I you know, if I like ever like become big one day, that's actually one of the one thing I don't look forward to because you know how like, when people become famous like all of a sudden like there's people that like not just criticize but like say things about them that may be false. I feel as if I ever get to that spot, that is definitely something that would happen with me. I mean, if it's happened to me before, it definitely happened if I ever got anywhere in life. Then a lot of people are, yeah, I guess. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how someone's words can get an entire group of people to hate you. I don't know. I think the people that need to be, I think the people that do accusations, like if I ruled the land and I made the laws, those people would be locked up. I mean, to me, there's almost nothing worse than someone making false accusations. I know I said I was going to end the stream soon, but we got into some deep talk, so I figured, be cool to just keep going for a little bit more. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Sorry, you're a little late to the party. No, you're fine. I'm actually going to go on for a little bit longer. Glad it ended with real talk. Great stream. Thanks so much, old things. Take care, man. But yeah, hello, Sister Mary. You know what's funny? I felt like with this title of the stream, like I felt like I barely even um went on what it was really about. But there is actually another thing about the modern edgy rock community I did want to bring up. And I guess that's replay value. And I really don't understand how some of these rockers listen to the same things over and over again. Like I just now I just went on Instagram and I saw someone who is more of a rocker who was posted a song that he listened to for like the last 2 years. I'm like, really? Like you haven't really gotten into anything new since then? Come on, guys. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing is with a lot of these rockers is like I think they're tolerant to like heavier music. Like I saw this playlist from a rocker one time and it was entitled Rough Stuff and Feed the Machine by Red was in the playlist. Like really? That's your definition of heavy music? Really? Like not Meshuggah, not Vector or um not Soilworks older material? None of that? Like really? Like that you can't go heavier than Red? You know? Creator? Yeah. How long will I be streaming? Maybe about maybe 20 or 30 more minutes. But yeah, I think a lot of these rockers really need to grow a pair. I mean, I mean, I think their tolerance to heavy music is like a needle in a balloon, honestly. Like, there are some, rockers that I know that I've recommended some things, and, they said they liked it, but it's one of those cases where it's like, I can see right through them. I can see that they don't enjoy it because it's not edgy enough, it doesn't have the depressing lyrics like Breaking Benjamin has. I I think they can't go softer or heavier, yeah. Yeah, that is true, like, they have a low tolerance to bands like Rush because of how mellow they are, but at the same time, they also don't like bands like Meshuggah because of how heavy they are? And I don't know, it really is just a satisfying feeling. It really is a satisfying feeling you get whenever, you like several other bands. Like, when you have this musical diversity? Like, you can go to something real heavy. Like, I could go to listen to something like a band called, like like, let's say this, like, I can go from a band like Death to Led Zeppelin, and if that isn't diversity, then I don't know what is? And the funny thing, and you do make a good point about, like, a lot of these edgy rockers not being able to enjoy the heavier side of things, or, the softer side of things, because they complain that the heavier stuff is too intense for them. It lacks melody, but at the same time, the softer stuff is too hard for them to enjoy because it's too boring for them or something like that? I mean, a couple of years ago, I would have never dreamt about me being into Led Zeppelin. I mean, I don't know. It just blows my mind that, like, there's some people that I see that still only listen to the same music that they've listened to for the last 5 years. Like, that would be like me. Like, that would be like Demon Hunter being the last band that I've ever gotten into. Like, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine being that close-minded because I've had other bands introduced to me since then, you know? Like, not only is that being close-minded, but that's rude to not only to your friends and their recommendations, but, like, to the other bands, you know? Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses. Well, classic rock fans, they do have some issues too. They're known for their stereotyping, I guess, like, they call all metal screaming, like, they think all metal is just screaming. Like, they do have that problem going for them, but, you know, I mean, you really can't get more rock than classic rock, and I do feel like that's what a lot of these modern rockers, can't seem to get? Like, they think Breaking Benjamin saved rock music or something. I mean, that's just one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. Also, there's the people who born in the wrong age. Yeah, I know. I know people that are like that. The rock genre for me is a hard one to get into, very generic. I tend to lean towards the heavier side of things, pop punk, but rock. Only a handful of bands do it for me. Yeah, I very much agree with that. Um, Especially if you're talking about modern rock, it is very generic. Um, Now there are some bands that do stand out from each other, but if you look at the bands Breaking Benjamin, Seether, and 3 Days Grace, like all those three bands really don't stick out from each other that much. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen is hip hop is new rock and roll. Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous. But that's what blows my mind about these rockers. Like I don't see where the variety is. Like I don't know how they get that. I mean, now I was the same way when I was a teenager. Like I only stuck with a few bands. Like I stuck with Breaking Benjamin, Red, and 3 Days Grace, some Skillet, and some Coldplay even. And when you're younger, like I can see how that can play a factor, and I know how, like, I can see why that is because you're not as heavily into music, like I am now. But I just don't know how you can call yourself a true music fan if you can't musically mature from that. If you just listen to the same bands that you've been like only stick to the bands you've been listening to since your teenage years, I can't stand to do that, honestly. Like, I can't even imagine that, and that's one of the things that blows my mind um, about these modern rockers, like, how they are okay with listening to the same things over and over again. Van Halen is also considered rock, but they changed the entire hard rock and heavy metal genre, yeah. But yeah, it's, and especially considering that, metal is the genre with the most variety. It's funny how people think that, that people are, when people hear that, people think that those people are just talking out of their rear end when they say that. But, you know, it's one of those things that they just can't look past from what they've already heard from the band. And it's like they can't look past their love and their nostalgia for these rock bands. Exactly, man. Breaking Benjamin is fantastic. I like Van Halen, but I wouldn't consider them classic though. Like Led Zeppelin with both bands. Some modern stuff I struggle with, yeah. Now, modern rock, I didn't struggle with at all when I was a teenager, but see, that's just it. These modern rock bands, they're not aiming to please adults. They're aiming to please teenagers. And there's some people that I know that are in college that, only, stick to that. And that's what blows my mind to me. And I recommend stuff and I just give up because there's just no hope for some people. There's no hope for some people. They only wanna stick to bands that they've been a fan of for a long time because of the feeling that they had whenever they got into those bands. Like, you know, Seven Dust rock or metal, um, you can consider them either or. I think some of their stuff is metal. Their earlier stuff is metal, I'd say, but their newer stuff is more rock. And that's another thing too. There's a group of people, rockers that I know that only like Seven Dust newer stuff. No surprise there. I mean, I don't know how you can consider yourself a Seven Dust fan and not enjoy like the self-titled album and Home. Sure, those are new metal albums, but they're great. Oh yeah, I mean everything I've heard from Seven Dust so far has been good. Even their rock stuff has been good. you know? But, I think it's one of those cases where it's like, you kind of already you kind of already get the memo whenever, like, you see that, like, someone only likes Seven Dust's newer stuff. Like, that really does go to show the lack of tolerance to heavier music, like, you can't even enjoy Seven Dust, like, older stuff, you know? It's pretty crazy. But, yeah, they have put out good music consistently. Alright, well, I don't know where Mott's is, but I think I will end the stream now because I'm getting low on viewers. Um, do I enjoy Chevelle? I heard they are considered good modern hard rock. Eh, I would say I'm okay with Chevelle. Yeah, totally, man. Um, I'm actually surprised I streamed for as long as I did. Okay, well, I guess that'll be it. I'll end the stream now. So, yeah, thanks for coming out to the stream. See ya.